My group's topic is on the Amish culture and the Amish as an immigrant group in the United States. Throughout this presentation, you will learn more about the major elements, the history, where they originated from, their beliefs, education, holidays, and social cultural issues, conflicts, and more. What is the Amish? The Amish is also known as the Pennsylvania Dutch. Pennsylvania Dutch is a dialect of German that was actually their first original language, which is why they emphasize that name today. They are a religious group who believe that God oversees their life. They have a minimalist lifestyle and follow many traditions related to their religion. Major elements of the Amish. The Amish lives simple, quiet lives. Amish homes tend to have a white exterior and painted neutral tones inside. They don't believe in curtains and they don't use electricity. They travel horse and buggy. This simple life shows their dedication to natural life and God. Men have a distinguished beard look, women dress very plain and conservative, as well as young children. Major elements of the Amish. There are many traditions within Amish relationships. Amish can begin courting at age 16 and marry by 20. When courting, they have one night where the girl and boy sleep next to each other, fully clothed and separated. They believe that it forms a deeper connection. Also, their honeymoons are at the bride's parents' houses, and divorce is not allowed due to their religion.
As many people may know, the Amish are a very religious group of individuals. They can be referred to as the Plain People, Pennsylvania Dutch, Pennsylvania German, and even Mennonites if they are more new-fashioned. They migrated to the United States to escape religious persecution and to find farming land. The name Amish comes from a Swiss minister named Jadko Amon, who was a strong follower of God. Amish were originally from Europe and trace all the way back to the Protestant Reformation. The first group of the Amish arrived in the United States in the early 18th century. After leaving Europe in hopes of returning to the purity of the New Testament church, they settled in eastern Pennsylvania. That is where a large group remains to this day. The Amish believe in values of life from the perspective of God and the church. The tenets include humility, family, community, and separation from the real world. Humility means being modest and humble with their successes. Family, meaning they want large families with many kids. Community, meaning they all work together in their farms and in their shops. Separation from the world, meaning no technology to live a more simple life. As stated previously, the Amish are very religious. They believe in living a life God would approve of. They attend church as often as possible. They do not believe in premarital sex and that you should only have children after marriage, like God intended. They also live simplistically because they believe it brings them closer to God.
Next, we have a picture of an Amish church. You're probably sitting there and wondering, why does it look like a house? Well, it's because each service is held in a church member's home. Families host a service on average of once a year, and these services are about every other Sunday. Next, we have the Amish schooling. The Amish children don't go to school past 8th grade. They're expected to work on farms or in shops after they are past 8th grade. The goal is to teach the children the worth of hard work, ethical living, and how to be a valuable member of the Amish community. Here we see a picture of the Amish classroom. The teacher is usually an unmarried woman. She teaches all 8 grades herself, but may have the older students help the younger students. In the first picture, you see here the younger students and the older students together, and on the right, you see the teacher helping the students in the classroom. After 8th grade, the boys go to the farm and they continue to learn agricultural skills, while girls go home and work with their mothers on their housemaking skills. Working outside of the community poses a threat to them for an overexposure to the worldly influences, and it is avoided if possible. Going and working outside of the community or leaving the Amish community can get them shunned.
Next, we have the Amish religious practices. One example is sacraments, which is an adult baptism. There's 9 sessions of formal instruction at the end. You answer questions about the commitment to the church, and then water is poured over your head by the bishop. Another example is communion. They have their communion in the spring and fall, and they eat a piece of bread and pass around a cup of wine for them to share. The holidays that the Amish celebrate are pretty much all the same as ours. They just keep it more simple and attend church for those holidays. Something that they do celebrate is called Old Christmas, and for Old Christmas, they have big feasts and a huge family gathering to celebrate this. One of the big social issues that they face deals with money. They're assumed to be poor because of their clothes and the jobs that they have. The things that they do to make money is they farm and then they sell their goods in shops and stores. They don't use banks and they pay with cash and checks so that they don't have any debt. A cultural issue that they face is standing out for how they live, and this is just because they use horses and buggies to get around instead of using normal cars. And then something that's also very different that they do is they invite a bunch of people into their homes to eat and stay the night, just so that those people can see how the Amish live their lives.
Integrating into the US as an Amish person is difficult as they typically aren't vaccinated, and this is a problem just like in 2014 when a measles outbreak happened. It was difficult for the Amish to find help as hospitals would have to be found through the church because of the way their healthcare is. Integrating into the US without technology is difficult for the Amish as most people drive cars to and from place, and not being able to take a buggy somewhere can stop them from creating valuable connections with one another. Same with not being able to have a phone. Communication is important, and they can't participate in that. Integrating into the US can be difficult for those who are Amish, as not everyone has the same set of religious beliefs or ways that they practice or how often they practice. Amish community, they work together typically in a very close fashion, building things together and making sure they take care of their crops and animals. In conclusion, being Amish in the United States today may be difficult as they live their day-to-day life very different compared to those around them. But although they are different, they do have unique ways of showing their culture, like how they're welcoming to strangers to get them to see what living their life is like.